Hey, everybody, it's Andrew, and welcome to episode 152 of the Jaguar podcast. In this episode, I will be discussing the firing of Jacksonville Jaguars general manager Dave Caldwell. But before we jump into that, subscribe to the channel, show your boy some love and support, and for returning subscribers, hit that bell icon to get updates on the latest content. All right, so on Sunday night, it was announced that Jacksonville Jaguars general manager Dave Caldwell has been fired, and this is good news. I think we were all waiting anxiously for this to happen. I think really this should have been done at the end of last season, but it wasn't. And man, I have a lot of thoughts on this. To start with, I kind of feel like Shad Khan did this to appease Jacksonville Jaguars fans, because Jacksonville Jaguars fans are really angry right now. And angry right now. We've been angry for a while. But Shad has put a lot of bad product on the field for Jacksonville Jaguars fans. And not just to mention the product he's put on the field, but the quality of the stadium, the fan experience has just been bad. I often talk about this when I went to the game last year. First game of the season, 2019 season. It was just a bad fan experience, man. It was hot. It was 100 degrees. We felt like we were melting in that stadium. And it's just not good. And I feel like Shad could really do a lot of things, but they're simple things. I mean, he could make that stadium better, put a canopy up there, protect the fans from the elements. I mean, people were passing out. It's just like, it wasn't a good situation. It wasn't pleasant, We ended up getting back to the hotel and we were like quasi, dehydrated, like quasi heat stroke, and it just wasn't good. So Shad has to do a lot of things to improve this fan experience, not to mention, the whole issue with bringing the games overseas to, London. And, I think it's great to expand the market for the NFL. And I think it's great we're getting more, fans over in Europe and different markets. But, he had those when he brings those games overseas, Jacksonville Jaguars fans and local businesses, they lose out on that. They lose money by not having those games there. And I think it's just even worse now with the whole pandemic. And I'm sorry I'm kind of going into the social, economic kind of issues of this, but I feel like Shad's just trying to pander right now to Jags fans because we've been so fed up with it. We've been calling for Dave Caldwell's head for a while. Just all the bad personnel decisions. And Dave Caldwell was the GM from 2013 to 2020. And, looking at his career as the Jags GM, I could honestly really only say he's had probably 2.5 good drafts. And I say 2.5 out of, all of those, 8 drafts that he had being here. One of them was in 2017, but I can really only give him about half credit because Tom Coughlin was here and had a say in some of those draft picks. I would say 2016 was probably his best, draft year, or at least one of them. 2015 wasn't bad either, but in 2016 we got Jalen Ramsey, Miles Jack, Yannick Ngakoue, pretty good draft. 2017 was pretty good as well. Getting, Leonard Fournette, which, is very controversial. I think he was a good draft pick. I thought he was very productive here in Jacksonville. I'm wearing his jersey right now. Think he got a pretty bad deal out of Jacksonville. And, looking at how that deal went down, when you let your first round draft pick walk on waivers and not get anything for him that is bad. Like, that is really bad. Yeah. I know that Jacksonville passed on like Patrick Mahomes in that draft, and everybody's like, oh, they should have drafted Pat. I get that. But let's think about this for a second realistically. How would Patrick Mahomes play in this system with this coaching staff and this culture? I don't know. I think he'd be okay. But I mean, would he be as good as he is right now, in Andy Reid's system? I don't think so. Like, I mean, I don't think, Jacksonville is anywhere near close as good as a system and an organization as Kansas City is right now. I mean, and they proved that, in the first game of last year, they put a whooping on us. And, I think that shows, right? So sometimes, and I'm not knocking Patrick Mahomes at all. He's a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal talent. But I think a lot of it does have to do with the system that you're in. And, he's got a great system. He's got a great organization. He's got Andy Reid, got a lot of weapons around him. Anthony Sherman. He's got Tyreek Hill. He's got Sammy Watkins. He's got, John, what's his name? Kelsey. I'm getting him confused. John Kelsey was I believe he was the center for the Eagles, but I think his name's Travis Kelsey, the tight end for Kansas City. I mean, he's just got so many weapons around him and a good defense as well. So I think Leonard Fournette did a really good job being in Jacksonville. He had really only one bad year, and that's when he was injured in 2018 with that hamstring, and then he had some disciplinary issues. But, you don't even let him finish out his contract, and then he goes to Tampa Bay, and we get nothing for him. And I think having, him there with James Robinson, does it make us a worse team? I don't think so. I think there's more to that there, and I'm sorry I'm going on a tangent about this, but I really think that was a bad move by Caldwell and the organization. I do think Dave did pretty well in the 2020 draft. Laviska Shenault, I think, is very promising. CJ Henderson's more of a project, I think. He's been injured as well. But Devon Hamilton, a lot of promise there. Colin Johnson at wide receiver. I think it's a little bit too early to tell with that, but I think 2020 could have been a decent draft, or is a decent draft for Dave Caldwell. 2019 draft with Josh Allen and Gardner Minshew was pretty good as well. So I give him 2.5, good drafts, but 2.5 out of like 8, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I just don't think it's very good. I think a lot of people are relieved. I think it should have happened sooner. But again, I think this was just Shad kind of appeasing the fans. I think there's a few things in play right now. One of them is the stadium deal. There's been a lot of talk about that on Twitter. Mayor, I think his name is Curry, Lenny Curry, has been posting some things about the stadium deal. They want a lot of these enhancements to be paid by the taxpayer, and it's causing a lot of controversy. I mean, and I understand it. Jags fans again are upset. They don't want to put their taxpayer money for a project when Shad Khan has been putting subpar / mediocre talent on the field. And I get it, including all of the economic hardships that have come along with the pandemic. And we're even seeing it. I mean, I think Shad Khan's getting hurt. He's, had to sell his yacht, the Kismet, and that was in the news recently. So, I think there are some things in play here. I think Shad is probably trying to, put a good image out there, and make it look like he's trying to make the right move for the franchise. But I don't know, man. I think this is so long overdue. But it's a good, it's a positive move. I think it's in the right direction. I mean, I think the coaching staff, that's another story. I think based on what I've read in the news that the coaching staff is going to stay till the end of the season. I don't know. I sort of don't believe that. I think they're going to make a change, maybe before the second to the last game. I'd love to see Keenan McCardell, get an opportunity to be the interim head coach, kind of test it out, see how he does. I actually think he'd do a great job. And I think he should be in there sooner rather than later. But a lot of people are talking about putting Jay Gruden into the head coaching position, or at least interim head coaching position. I think that's a terrible idea. We've seen his body of work. We've seen him over in Washington. I do not think that would be a good move. But, who knows at this point? Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, Dave Caldwell has been fired. And hopefully we'll find some good talent out there. I think the interim GM is, I think he was like used to be like an ex-GM over at the 49ers, San Francisco 49ers. I'm blanking on his name right now. But regardless, yeah, Dave Caldwell gone, and hopefully we will find a good GM. But let me know how you guys feel about this situation. Leave me a comment on the YouTube video or podcast episode. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, show your boy some love and support. Come by Apple Podcasts as always. Leave me a review. Always helps me when I put these episodes together. Stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy. Go Jags, and I'll see you next time.